You've worn many hats along this journey. How do you go from engineering to the music industry, co-founder of the Trap Museum, to now being in telecommunications?
I came up with this idea that what if you were able to share your extra 5 gigs with somebody in the community? There's several things that you can do out of this industry, and we want to provide the information.
How are you getting the audience to really tap into the bigger picture of this?
Exposure in the community helps. You're benefiting the culture. At the end of the day, we're building our own ecosystem. If you don't even have access to the internet, how are you going to keep up with all the transition that's happening with AI?
Welcome to Vaught Empowers Talk, so we don't just scratch the surface. We dive deep into the lives of some of the world's most influential change makers. I'm your host, Brandi Harvey. Well, we got a good one today, Vaught Empowers. We in the world of telecommunications. William Bam Sparks is an unstoppable force, redefining how culture and technology intersect, from co-founding the groundbreaking Trap Museum to partnering with T-Mobile to deliver high-speed 5G to underserved communities. William Bam Sparks is a master at turning vision into impact. As the co-founder of Cultural Wireless, he's on a mission to close America's digital divide while empowering everyday people to own a stake in the internet revolution. Vaught Empowers Talks welcome CEO, founder, and innovator William Bam Sparks to the show. How are you?
Great. Thank you.
Innovator.
Yeah, vision and impact. I like that.
Listen, that's you. You got to take it. It's now yours. Vision and impact. I mean, you've been in the music industry. You've been an entrepreneur, an engineer, a cultural curator.
Yeah.
You've worn many hats along this journey.
Yeah, Renaissance man.
Yeah. Absolutely. So take me on this journey. What kind of has been the mojo? Because how do you go from engineering to the music industry, co-founder of the Trap Museum, to now being in telecommunications?
Just being the master of the pivot, you know. I was at Georgia Tech. I'm a native of Atlanta, you know, doing the whole chemical engineering thing. And I got a call. And the call was, hey, we need you to come and run this sports agency. And me not knowing anything about being an agent, I had to adjust.
You were in college?
Yeah.
And somebody asked you to come and run a sports agency.
Yeah, so my cousin, who's T.I.'s best friend, they were running the label Grand Hustle, and Adam Pac-Man Jones actually reached out for some sort of management or help, and essentially they knew of my sports background in high school. I ran against Pac-Man in high school track. So, yeah, from there, I just took all my relationships from football in high school. A lot of my friends ended up going pro, so it just made sense. I learned to capitalize on my relationships.
Yeah, capitalize on your relationships. So then you go from sports to then going into the music industry.
Yeah. So I'll probably say around 2007 or 8. I was always interested in music, but, you know, after Tip went to jail, came back out, I had to, you know, figure other things out outside of sports, and went under the wing of my cousin and a couple other people, learned how to, you know, A&R, work with producers, manage talent, and yeah, did that for about 10 years, I would probably say, just on the music side. Yeah.
Yeah, on the music side.
Yeah.
And now you have ventured into telecommunications.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is correct.
How did you land here?
It was random, actually. I got a call from another one of my cousins. I got like 1 million cousins. And he said, I want you to go check out this esports facility at Morris Brown. So I went over there, and this guy basically rigged a circuit, which is basically took the fiber out the ground, created a connection into the old arena. And I don't know if last time you seen the arena, it was vacant for like 20, 25 years.
Yeah, with all the graffiti and everything.
Exactly. So he was like, yeah, man, this is the fastest internet in the city. I'm like, how? Dude, this is one of the oldest buildings in Atlanta. So he explained to me about a Google project that was there, that was started to help the community, and they kind of just left it there. He was able to tap into that dark fiber, run his own circuit, and literally had the fastest internet. But at that time, it wasn't going back to Vine City or the Bluff or the AUC, but it was going back towards Georgia Tech, Mercedes-Benz, downtown, midtown. And I saw the issue right then. That's when the light bulb went off. Because at the end of the day, if you remember post-COVID, all of our kids were going to the library because they didn't have connectivity.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why is this like this? So I made a couple calls. One of my business partners actually did the fiber infrastructure at Hartsfield. And he basically took me to class that day, how to get into telecom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what is like the entry? Because he taught you how to get into it. We had this bruh man from the fifth floor internet connection that was happening.
Yeah.
You know, down at Morris Brown. So what was your entry? You got excited and then you said, let me go buy a telecom company?
Yeah.
Really?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
We just wanted to solve a problem.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I've always, wanted to solve problems, bring opportunities back to the West Side because that's where I'm from. And yeah, at the end of the day, I thought it would be great to kind of bridge that gap because there's obviously, this whole digital divide going on. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah. The digital divide. How are our communities, how are really Black communities being underserved when it comes to telecommunications?
It's just limited access. I went to a HBCU before going to Georgia Tech. I went to Albany State University, and I saw that 80% of the HBCUs had no connectivity or limited connectivity.
Yeah.
So seeing that stat, I wanted to figure out a way how to connect everyone, and that's just been our mission from the beginning. And the previous administration had, different funding mechanisms to go to rural and Black and brown communities. So I wanted to tap into those funds and redirect it because typically what happens is one of the big boys would take those funds and allocate it where they wanted to go.
So this is federal funding that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So government funding funds these projects for these communities to be able to have high-speed internet?
Yeah, there was an infrastructure bill that was passed. But now there's a halt on a lot of the infrastructure money, so the BEAD funding. There was also another federal grant that was called the Affordable Connectivity Program. And that really got me involved trying to take that subsidy for people that were, on government assistance to give them access to internet. So that was another thing. I think they were getting like $30 a month on the internet bill. But yeah, they shut that down February of last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have this idea. Now, at the same time, you've also co-founded and launched the Trap Museum. So
Yes.
I'm trying to find, was there some connection between the two? Were you trying to marry the two together?
No, even though we piloted our internet at the museum, so the museum has its own circuit. I think we see about 2,000 to 3,000 people a week, so we needed our own dedicated circuit for people to have connectivity. So
Yeah.
the POS systems and everything wouldn't shut down. From there, like I said, it's in that same community. We're right off the Beltline in the Bluff, so I wanted to make sure if we could prove it here, we can prove it throughout this entire neighborhood. So I created a pilot by having a mobile data center that we popped up. I can't remember the name of the street, but yeah. Anyway, we had a mobile data center, and we had these nodes that surrounded Martin Luther King all the way down to Joseph E. Laurie. And essentially, if you were in that area, you could receive internet from Culture Wireless.
Okay, so what year? This is launched after the pandemic.
Yes.
So this is really
2021, so about 4 years ago.
So
Yeah.
4 years, you launched this, and it starts off as a small connection in the West End area around, the Trap Museum, essentially.
Yep.
And so now, what is your coverage?
Well, we're nationwide now as far as wireless. So when you start talking about fiber infrastructure, we have a pilot that we did in Clayton County. So I think we cover about 3,000 homes right now in Clayton County. We're a part of a development in Los Angeles right now. We're also doing a big project in Jackson, Mississippi. So those are some of our key anchors as far as running fiber. We're also a part of, like I said, some of those federal grants in southern Georgia, middle Georgia, just waiting for the government to, light it back up.
Yeah. So when you say you're in these areas, right? When I look at Culture Wireless and this partnership that you have with T-Mobile, is T-Mobile driving the access to this internet, or you are your own entity?
Well, it's two different verticals. So T-Mobile is more of a mobile infrastructure. So we partner with them so we can use their network. So think Mint Mobile, think Metro PCS. Basically, being able to get those services to anybody that wants to use a phone or have fixed wireless in their home. So think of a router that connects to the tower. You know, so that's one vertical. The other vertical is just straight fiber to home, doing the last mile. Yeah, that's about it on that side as far as the fiber infrastructure. And what we wanted to do with T-Mobile was be able to take unused data. That's our secret sauce. So after we completed A16Z, December of 23, that February I knew the government was going to shut down the ACP program. So that would leave 45 million people that look like us without access.
So before you go any further with this 45 million, for our audience who is not familiar, what is that program, the ACP program?
Affordable Connectivity Program.
The Affordable Connectivity Program.
Yes, so that's what I was telling you about earlier, where they granted people using government subsidies to get that internet connection. It was $30 a month. Plus, they paid for your devices. So once they shut that down in February of last year, I came up with an idea. One of the people that was in my cohort with A16Z knew the VP of wholesale with T-Mobile, and he just connected the dots. I did the pitch, and I was sitting in the office one day, and I thought about it. You know, I was paying my bill. I was with AT&T at the time, and I noticed I'm not using my data. You know, I'm using like 3 gigs or whatever. So I'm like, what happens to this unused data? So I called the same person, Al, who told me about the whole fiber. He said, well, what happens is there's a pool. There's just a pool of data that AT&T sells or T-Mobile sells, and as you use it, they make adjustments with people like in this room. So you might have unlimited. I might have 5 gigs a month. If I overstep my 5 gigs, whatever you didn't use, they'll pull it and charge me extra. Meanwhile, they didn't take any money away from your bill.
Okay.
So I came up with this idea that what if you were able to share your extra 5 gigs with somebody in the community and reward them? So I came up with this reward program to service our community and help people in need.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what's been the response? Do people know that this is a program that's really like for us by us?
No, not yet.
Okay.
We haven't launched it. So that's a part of the whole We Funder launch that we're doing on Juneteenth, is to help put some money behind this campaign. One of our advisors, Robert Frederick, who created AWS, is the guy that's building our technology. So we have our own Culture Wireless app and everything that we're launching. And this will be able to kind of test the market, but we haven't fully baked it out to where we can blast it out to the entire world yet.
Yeah. So with the app, are you offering other like forms of content for people to be able to tap into, or is this simply a one-stop shop?
No, it'll be a community-based app. We have some other things that Rob has built in the past for other cities. He did some smart city projects for New Jersey. He's working on some stuff here in Atlanta. So it would be a whole ecosystem.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that ecosystem going to look like? What can the customers get from this ecosystem?
Well, there'll be some answers on transit. So what we want to do is eventually connect to MARTA, connect to the city of Atlanta, anything they have as far as APS, do some skilling. One of the things we want to do is actually...
You said skilling?
Skilling, yes.
Okay.
Teaching people how to get jobs in these areas, maybe even using AI. There's several jobs. You can run fiber, you can work on the towers, you can work at data centers. Like, there's several things that you can do out of this industry, and we want to provide the information.
Yeah. Let's talk about AI since you just mentioned it. Recently, I had Alicia Little on the show. She's the queen of AI.
Okay.
And she is a Black woman that is really changing the game the way how we use AI and we integrate it into our businesses and scale our businesses. And so when you look at artificial intelligence And in regards to your business of telecommunications, where are you in the race of AI? And how is that revolutionizing your own business?
Well, we're in the infancy stages right now. I know this past 404 day, we did a partnership. It was AI Day in the A with Microsoft.
Okay.
And yeah, so what we wanted to do was to do a hackathon where people can actually learn how to use AI in the telecom industry. Like, how do we advance it? I want to say T-Mobile just did the same thing for one of their programs that they piloted. I think it ends in July in Germany at the headquarters.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one of the things we wanted to try and get ahead of it and figure out ways to implement it. But, like I said, it's early.
Yeah. So you guys aren't integrating artificial intelligence into your daily operations?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, listen.
Okay.
I'm waiting to put out my Trap GPT app.
What is that? Tell me about it.
Well, I pitched it at AI Day in the A, but basically I want to use it for the museum, but Trap GPT, I'll send you the link. It's basically I don't want to use the word mockery, but it just adds some culture to it.
Okay.
You'll see it. It's kind of hard.
So
to
it's
describe.
like chat, but it kind of speaks in trap, or it offers you trap music. What is it gonna do?
It speaks in a almost like a trap type of language, but it also brings some different elements to it.
Yeah.
Listen, you'll see it. Trust me, it's gonna be dope.
I mean, I'm sitting here with a cultural innovator. Of course I'm gonna see it, right? Yeah. I mean, when we look at culture, technology, innovation, how is your company really playing a significant role in that?
Well, we're just being disruptors, honestly. To even, I'm not going to say expose the industry, but show people how your phones really work and show you that there could be a solution outside of waiting for the government to come and save us, but for us to power our own communities. I think that in itself, makes us, cultural disruptors.
Okay, how are we using our phones and we don't know how? Tell us.
Yeah, with the data. So like I was telling you, a lot of people don't understand how that really
You
works.
mean going back to this data pool?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're not using all of your data, then it's going to go into a pool for somebody who's using all of theirs, and they're going to pay the extra.
The extra $10 per gig that AT&T charges everybody. It's really almost like the carriers double dipping almost.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Why do you think our people will care?
One, it'll save them money. Two, it can help impact the community. And it gives us more access. Like that help closes the digital divide. That's the biggest issue, especially when you start talking about AI. If you don't even have access to the internet, how are you going to keep up with all the transition that's happening with AI? Yeah,
and most people that you're finding are not keeping up with the technology and having the internet because they don't have the money. That's what this comes down to.
Essentially.
Yeah, comes down to the money.
Yeah.
So then when you look at being a cultural disruptor, how are you going to say where it's not just about the money? We got some other teaching tools that how are you getting the audience to really tap into the bigger picture of this?
I would probably say just given the opportunity. I think exposure in the community helps. So I have a couple of the partnerships where we're working on workforce development in our community. So right on the west side, not too far from Donnelly Hollowell, you'll be able to go and get educated on this stuff. Once again, we have a partnership with Microsoft to skill people not just on AI but other things. I think it's access at the end of the day.
Yeah. I want so much, because when I've had these conversations, and like I even told Alicia when she was here, like every conference, every tech event that I go to, everything is about when it says AI, I'm there.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like that is one of those, when we talk about these cultural revolutions, we talk about this internet revolution, we're in a whole new frontier of where our lives are going to go with artificial intelligence. And if we aren't championing that cause in our communities for us to be learners and to be really to as many skills as we can get,
Mm-hmm.
on AI, I feel like we're just gonna be. It's another way to put us behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got to stay ahead of the curve, and not necessarily, make things cool. Like, once we start talking about ChatGPT, now everybody's on it.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is provide resources so we can come up with our own stuff, so we can stop giving away our culture. So at the end of the day, if we make something cool, it's going back to our community.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, giving up our culture. When you look at the Trap Museum, and I've been to the Trap Museum before. Okay. Yes, I definitely have. I know in the summer, y'all shine in the summer, baby, because line wrapped down the street. Listen, and y'all stay open late, and food trucks be over there.
Yes.
Listen, and it's a church right across the street. People don't know.
Yeah.
It's a church right across the street, so they praying while we trapping. Listen.
It's okay. It's okay. We've had church in the trap.
Yeah, I know. Jamal Bryant.
Yeah, shout out Jamal Bryant. Yeah. We had church in the trap.
Yeah, New Birth. Yeah, so when you look at a space like the Trap Museum, how can it kind of serve as this hub in more of just like showcasing how we've impacted the music culture, the scene of Atlanta, how we've really transformed even what rap music looks like here in the city of Atlanta? How is it going to serve as this cultural hub of innovation?
Giving people more access in the space. So because we know the foot traffic, launching a Trap GPT or having different things in there where you can learn about, infrastructure. You're right off of the Beltline. Eventually, once the World Cup comes in 362 days, a lot of people will come through there. So us having a hub where people can stop, learn about our culture, but also learn about innovation and how to next step and be involved in all those things in that area, I feel like that would be impactful.
Yeah. Speaking of the World Cup, Atlanta's pumping a whole lot of money over this next year.
A lot.
Into what this World Cup is going to do. How is your company going to really be able to utilize what's going to come to this city and really impact in a big way?
Well, one, we want to make sure we activate over in that area. So like I said, we already have a mobile data center over there directly across the street from the stadium.
Yeah.
So I'm actually working on a play to where we can have coverage for people that come in town. So what I want to do is have our own devices. People can tap in, get our service, and basically flow in and out the game without any interruption.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Flow in and out the game with no interruption. And this does not impede on the service that is over at the stadium, or this is the service already covers the stadium?
Well, our partnership covers, we're nationwide, so we don't impede as long as it's not in the stadium, because we didn't win the bid to actually be in the stadium. So we put in a couple bids on the surrounding areas, which we should be finding out if we won those or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does politics impact your business?
A lot. But it's mainly, relationships, even us, winning the RFP, we put an amazing proposal out for the Beltline. So we became the actual infrastructure partner for them. So now that gives us more leverage leaning towards these other, RFPs that are going to come out, so we can potentially win those bids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we think about cities like Atlanta, Los Angeles, and what's the other city that you're in?
Jackson.
In Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, and Clayton County. Yeah.
So Jackson, Mississippi, one of the highest concentration of black people in the country outside of Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Atlanta. I don't know if we considered, because we real gentrified right now, technically. Technically, it's gentrified based on the zip codes, but it's real blackity black here, right?
Still the blackest city.
Yeah. So then moving into cities like a Los Angeles, which is a lot more culturally diverse, moving into cities that may not have the cultural landscape like we have here in Atlanta or in a Jackson, how does that affect your business?
We still focus on our communities, so we're going to be in Crenshaw specifically.
Okay, so this is like Lamert Park area.
Yeah. We're not necessarily in Beverly Hills, but we're still connected to the culture for sure.
Okay. So then when we talk about this in the culture moment, when you look at a space like, say you take this to a city like Cleveland, say you go to a Chicago, What does that look like in those landscapes?
Well, we're going to have to partner with different municipalities in each city. And that's a part of our rollout. So eventually, like you said, I want to go to Harlem. I want to go Cleveland. I don't know where. I haven't been to Cleveland but twice.
Oh,
So
my
I don't
God.
really know.
You know, it's my hometown. Shout out to the 216. No,
Really? Well, I'm going to have to talk to you about it because
Yeah.
I have no idea. I think I went to a Cleveland Browns game or something.
Yeah.
Other than that, I really don't know the dynamic of the city. But, yeah, it's just all off those partnerships and, connecting with the correct people.
Yeah. So if I'm just on my phone right now, and for all our viewers who are watching and listening to this, is it a thing where, you know what, I'm going to go get me some Culture Wireless today. Let me go sign up for Culture Wireless. Can they do that? Or is this something that has to be in those networks that you named?
It has to be in those networks for internet directly to the home. But for the mobile, we'll be able to launch that wherever you are. So, like I said, we're launching our WeFunder on Juneteenth. Our actual network should be up and running within the next 60 days after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say that they can come in and get phone service.
Yes.
You're a phone service provider.
Yes.
So,
MVNO is the technical term. So mobile virtual network operator, but just strictly mobile. So we'll operate off of T-Mobile's network where you can come in, sign up, get a number, and we'll send you a SIM card.
okay, so you're not offering phones. You're only offering the SIM cards, or
SIM
you
cards
offering
it's just a service. Yeah, so you either do a digital SIM, an eSIM, or a physical SIM.
Okay.
And like I don't know if you have an iPhone or not. I can send you a eSIM. You download it, put in a number, register it on our website, and then the service pops up.
So this can be just a number that you have outside of your phone, your actual phone number?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a Google number.
Yeah, it's just like switching service. It's same thing you would do
okay, got it.
if you were with Verizon switching to T-Mobile or AT&T to Culture, whatever.
Yeah. What's the incentive? What would make people want to jump ship from their provider right now to then come over to Culture Wireless?
You're benefiting the culture. At the end of the day, we're building our own ecosystem, and we're supplying services for people that don't necessarily have access to service. So it's not taking a philanthropic angle. It's more so we want economic change. We want to come on and make sure that our community isn't left behind. So that should motivate a lot of people to come over and switch, especially when you have companies like Verizon killing their DEI program. You know, why would I continue to support someone that doesn't necessarily support our community?
So then there's going to be somebody out there who's going to say, oh, I ain't leaving my good old AT&T, my good old Verizon Wireless, to go over there because I'm going to go somewhere and they ain't even going to have no coverage. My cell phone ain't going to work. What would you say to them?
Well, believe it or not, a lot of your coverage already doesn't work, especially with AT&T. Just kidding, but I would encourage them to support, our people. At the end of the day, I love to tell people that I'm Black owned, not just to say our services for Black people, but it's for us by us, and I want us to continue support. If we are able to pour, our Black dollars into our Black community, it stretches longer. You see the boycott that just went on with Target.
Yeah.
What happened to those dollars? You know what I mean? If we had a Black version of Target and we were able to redirect those funds, we wouldn't necessarily be so dependent on these DEI programs.
Yeah. So then there's going to be somebody who says, but when I go to Jamaica, when I go to Bermuda, when I go to London, when I go to Ghana, is my phone going to work?
Yes, same process. It's the exact same process. It just has a different code at the top of your phone. Instead of it saying T-Mobile, it says Culture. Instead of it saying AT&T, it just says Culture. So at the end of the day, like I said, we have experts on our team that's been doing this for over 30 years that built these networks for the AT&Ts and T-Mobile. The only difference is we're building it for ourselves now.
Yeah. I can imagine the amount of challenges, backlash, all kind of things that you've probably received along the way. What's been the most challenging thing that you've had to challenging hurdle you've had to jump in this journey?
Capital.
Yeah.
So what I didn't know 4 years ago when Al was telling me, oh, yeah, we can run the fiber, do this, do that, it's expensive. So to go from Morris Brown to Cameron Alexander is like 20 grand. and it's not even a half a mile. So just running that stretch, pulling that fiber is very expensive. So that's why, we had to raise a lot of capital. We put a lot of our own money into the company. That's been the most challenging part. Being a black founder is not the easiest to get, VC backing. So that's one of the reasons we want to give the community a chance to invest and own a piece of the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And them owning a piece is really them using you as a service provider.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it'll motivate them to, like you said, have the service. So not only do you have equity, but now you can say, oh, I own a piece of my own phone company.
So when they sign up with Culture as a service provider, how much equity are they getting in the company when they sign up?
Well, if you sign up through the WeFunder, it all depends. So right now we have a $10 million valuation and we're raising $1 million. So it's 10% of the company. And I think the minimum to get in is $100. So it's like 0.001% of the company, something like that. Yeah.
So for $100, you have a 0.0011000%
yeah.
buy-in.
Yeah.
What would be for those people who are looking to invest, who are like, you know what, I want to put my money where my mouth is, what would be a significant amount of money that they could invest where they would see a real return on their investment?
Well, it all depends. So last year, Ryan Reynolds, they sold Mint Mobile back to T-Mobile. And I think they sold for $1.35 billion, right? So if you were to invest, say, $100,000, you get 1% of the company. So 1% of a $1.35 billion exit is, I don't know, I don't have a calculator on me, but it's pretty extensive. So I would say at minimum I would do at least $1,000. But if you only feel comfortable with $100, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Because 10,000 people that invest $100 gives us that $1 million that we're looking for. So hopefully, I think we shall reach our goal of exiting within the next 3 to 4 years, and hopefully it'll be beyond the 1.35 that Ryan Reynolds just received.
Okay, so the goal is to scale and then eventually sell.
Yes,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now it's going to be some people already who like, they trying to sell out this business already.
Well, that's the mobile version. So like I said, there's two tentacles. You have your mobile and then you also have your fiber. I don't think we're ever going to have the proper infrastructure in the U.S. to actually sustain the type of speed you need. It's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
A very, very long time. So we're in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
But basically, once we hit a certain mark, which I feel like we should get there pretty fast. So say you get 250,000 customers on our service, people are going to want to buy us out. So could we potentially work out other structures and deals? Sure, I don't know yet, but I mean, when we get there, I'll let you know. You'll be the first person I call.
I know. I'm usually that girl, first one they call. Listen, so can you share how many people are already on the network right now, or no?
On the mobile side,
yeah.
No, we can't. But on the infrastructure side, like I said, we already have coverage in 3,000 homes in Clayco, and we're expanding in other areas. So hopefully within, I would say, the next 365 days, we should have over 50,000 customers on our platform.
Wow.
Yes.
That will be exponential growth.
That's the goal.
Yeah, that's
sure.
more than a 10x. Yeah.
Yeah, and a successful MVNO typically ranges around 35 to 60,000 customers. That's successful, and I want to blow it out the water.
Okay. What's one thing that they should know about this company that separates you from all the other ones out there?
I mean, we're about impact. We actually want to give people access. One of the reasons why people don't have access is some of the larger carriers didn't see the justification for running fiber in Vine City. You know what I mean? They didn't think that they could afford that $100 or whatever they charge a month.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure you have connectivity, because at the end of the day, that same day when he told me those kids have to go to the library at Clark because they don't have internet at home, it made me want to change something. So I think should be the differentiator between going with Culture Wireless versus AT&T.
Yeah. What are you most excited about as you are building this company?
Impact, making a difference, honestly, giving people access. I mean, I've had nieces and nephews call me asking, can I send them a tablet with some service on it? So for me to be able to, send them or run fiber down metropolitan to their neighborhood to make sure they're good to go, I mean, that's exciting for me.
Yeah. What would you tell those young Black boys who want to be cultural disruptors? What would you tell them? What would be that first piece of advice you would give them?
I would say think big. That's, I'm an ideas guy, and I'm always shooting for the stars. How can I make that happen? So I would give someone the same advice. Don't let anyone tell you that your idea is too big, and execute it, because I would probably say my biggest breakthrough was the Trap Music Museum. Pitching a concept over and over and over again, and actually getting the opportunity to make something that impactful for our culture, like that changed my life. It gave me the confidence that I know I can take a dream or an idea and execute it all the way to the finish.
Yeah. Yeah. As we begin to close out, one word you're committed to in this season of your life.
One word. I'll probably say purpose.
Why?
I think this is my purpose. I think I'm actually creating change. I think that's what I was put here to do. Create cool ideas, do dope stuff, and continue to pass on knowledge so other people can grow and scale. So I think that's it.
William Bam Sparks, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a pleasure. Vault Empowers Talks, another good one for the books. Be sure to share this with somebody who needs to execute in this season of their life, but walk in purpose. I'm your girl, Brandi Harvey. Until next time, eat well, give a damn, move your body every single day. Peace.